Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining me today. It is Monday. We made it through the weekend, right? At least I hope we all did. Kind of a relaxing weekend for the most part. Did a little bit of, I guess what you would call gardening. It was more transplanting some of the starter plants and things like that, you know, vegetables and whatnot. But yeah, it was pretty good. I hope all of you had a good weekend. So in today's video, I wanted to share my tips for those of you that might be struggling to stay profitable in the trucking industry. These are tips that are going to help boost your bottom line. Basically everything from fuel to maximizing revenue, getting paid faster, etc. Right? So we'll go ahead and jump into it. So first off is on helping to reduce your costs. Okay. Fuel costs. This is obviously a major expense for trucking companies, whether you're an owner operator or you've got a fleet. Optimizing your routes, negotiating fuel discounts with providers, and using fuel efficient trucks can help bring down fuel costs. Obviously, checking your tire pressure, things like that, which would refer to your maintenance costs. Regular preventative maintenance can help avoid costly repairs down the road. Other operational costs, look for ways to streamline your operations and reduce overhead costs. This could involve renegotiating contracts with vendors, going paperless, or using technology that helps automate your tasks, right? We can't just look at the truck itself and what it's costing. It's, kind of some of that back office stuff that can help, because time is money, right? For those of you that maybe are also brokers or, have been a broker in the past, how much, time is of essence, right? So anything that we can do to help simplify our days, allows us more time to focus on other tasks. Okay. Increasing your revenue. Work on negotiating higher rates with shippers, or brokers, especially on long hauls or for specialized services. Okay. I can tell you that from a broker standpoint, the number when I have spot loads, and it doesn't matter whether it's a dispatcher, an independent dispatcher, or sometimes a trucking company calling. I don't get this quite so much with owner operators, but oftentimes, you'll discuss, what the load is, its requirements, things like this. And then it gets down to the nitty gritty of, okay, well, what is it paying? Okay. And oftentimes they hear the rate. Sometimes they're happy with it. Well, we got a little deadhead to get over there. Can you help me out on the rate? Sometimes you get that, but it almost seems like more often than not, they're like, click. Sometimes there's not even a goodbye. There's no negotiating whatsoever, right? And there might have been room. I might have been able to go back to my customer, depending upon, maybe we were just way too far off the mark. I can tell you, for instance, I helped out a trucking company start to acquire some of their own customers. The very first customer that I helped them get, they were paying very well. They had a regular lane, I believe it was from Houston to Baton Rouge, if memory serves. It was in Louisiana. I want to say it was Baton Rouge, but I'm not 100% sure. It might have been outskirts of Baton Rouge. But anyway, load was paying very, very well. We had a return load, okay, and then but their operating costs were so high because they weren't focusing on some of these other aspects that I'm going over with you today, that they said, oh no, that's just about our break-even point. And they literally outpriced themselves from that lane, right? And there would have been opportunities for other lanes, but in the beginning of starting a new relationship with a shipper, right, they're not going to just hand you everything on a silver platter. But even with that said, you know, like I said, it was a pretty good lane. It was a very high paying lane. Like I said, it was a daily run. It was good, but unfortunately it was dead before it got started, right? So hopefully none of you out there are doing that, you know. And again, they weren't being greedy or anything like that. It was just that, you know, I think a lot of kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul and this and that, and not really paying attention, because some of their trucks, you know, they'd end up in areas where there just really wasn't any freight, and you know, the rate they got going in was not that great. There's a lot of things kind of going on behind the scenes aside from just that particular lane, and it, again, just they were so far in the hole, it was almost too late. So don't forget to negotiate, I guess is my point, right? Reducing your empty miles, deadhead miles, you know, or your empty miles driven, right? Cut into profits. Look for, I know it's kind of a naughty word, but backhaul opportunities, or partner with other companies to optimize routes. Along with that, I'll elaborate from my notes is, if you've got a load, let's say from, and I use this example often, this is just all hypothetical, from say Dallas to Chicago, right? If it's not a regular, like a dedicated load for you or something, you know, and let's say, okay, today's Monday, and this load picks up on Wednesday, you know, you're going to be there on Friday. Already start searching for your load to pick up on Friday. Okay. Too oftentimes, you know, drivers will get over there and then we start looking, right? Be a little bit more proactive about that. I know that not all of you do that, and it might seem like a no-brainer to some of us, but I talk to a lot of carriers, a lot of drivers, and it's, you know, well, I'll take this load when I get there, then I'll start looking. Well, the market rate might have changed, right? If the market rate outbound out of there, out of the Chicago area, might pay better going in other places, you know what I mean? Like, you're losing out on other potential loads that have been posted, because now those loads for Friday are already being snapped up, and you're kind of getting left with the leftovers, right? I won't really go into any more on that, but yeah, just always try to think ahead. At least make a few phone calls, shoot a few texts, emails, whatever, you know, your process is, and start, you know, searching that out. You know, it gives you some time to, again, negotiate a little bit, you know. So offering value-added services, like going beyond just the basic transportation by offering different things like, well, if you have a warehouse, right? Maybe talk to your shippers, you know, even if it's a small warehouse, if you've got a local shipper to you, you know, bring that up, okay? Things along that line, right? Improving efficiency, obviously route optimization, utilizing route planning software to find the most efficient routes that consider factors like traffic, weather, road closures. You know, I talked about this in a recent video. Anything can happen out there on the road, right? So, you know, aside from any other problems, obviously route optimization is kind of a key factor. Utilizing technology. There's more and more drivers utilizing technology, companies utilizing it, but there's still quite a few out there that are kind of doing things by hand, you know, a very antiquated way. And I realize that some of that stuff is kind of expensive, some of it not so much. Some have free trials, right? You know, I'll give you 7 days free or a month free, 14 days, whatever it is. But check it out. right? And don't be afraid to shop around, because oftentimes with technology, there's, you know, almost like a plethora of other companies doing pretty much the same thing. And while one, you know, might brag up that they're the best, they might not be the right one for you, right? Some are more user friendly than others. So, you know, there's different things to consider in that aspect. Obviously cost, but obviously, you know, start utilizing some of your technology. Okay. This would be things like telematics to track your trucks, right? Not every broker or shipper has tracking that they put on trucks. So for you to be able to offer that, that would go along with your value added services, right? And sending out those tracking updates, which also goes along with improving your communication, which ultimately strengthens your relationships with your direct customers and brokers. Okay. Factoring, right? Invoice factoring can improve cash flow by allowing trucking companies to get paid faster for their services immediately instead of waiting for customers to pay on their invoices. If you cannot, most invoices are paid in 30, 60, or 90 days. If you can't wait that 30 to 90 days to get paid, partnering with a factoring company like Operfi, you know, can be very beneficial. And again, with Operfi, they offer veteran discounts, obviously fuel cards. They have a plethora of vendor resources for you. They've got free calculators, you know, to help, you know, break down your break-even costs, things like this, you know, your driver pay, all kinds of things. You know, they really kind of go above and beyond, you know, offering some of the knowledge, tools, resources, and things beyond what a typical factoring company does. And all of these, again, can be very beneficial to your bottom line, right? Because they've kind of done the work for you. You just have to type everything in, and, you know, it spits out, you know, your numbers for you and things like this. Because, and obviously, you know, everybody's numbers are different. So you can't say, well, I think my operating costs are $1.65 a mile, when in actuality, they might be $2.01 a mile or something. You know what I mean? Take out that guesswork. Okay. Oh, my screens just went dark on me. What was up with that? Where are we at here? Investing in your people. Okay. Obviously, hiring qualified drivers, invest in your driver training and development programs to improve safety, fuel efficiency, and customer service, right? This can all go a very, very, very long way, because oftentimes drivers are meeting with, you know, those people on the dock, or, you know, maybe even the decision maker themselves, you know, that shipper, right? Those receivers. I actually have a customer that has a preferred carrier and drivers that I use on our regular lanes with them, right? And we have a very, very, very strong relationship between the shipper, myself, and my carrier, right? We've had a really great thing going on for the last couple of years. And so, again, you know, sometimes some of this stuff might seem like, you know, such little things or minuscule parts of, you know, our day-to-day operations and costs and things, but really that communication, that customer service, really can be very beneficial. Going along with that, reducing driver turnover. Okay. A high driver turnover rate can be expensive. We all know this. Create a positive work environment that offers competitive pay, benefits, and opportunities for advancement. Okay. So overall, by focusing on these areas, you know, trucking companies can improve their profitability and ensure their long-term success in a competitive industry. And I wanted to do this. I just did the video the other day. What was it, Saturday? For brokers on how they can be more profitable as well. But I wanted to include carriers, right? Trucking companies, because I truly believe that with where the market is headed, and it doesn't really matter whether we're in a down market, if we're in an up market, all of these things should take precedence, right, in helping us become more profitable and staying profitable, because this is how a lot of trucking companies survive while others don't, you know, in a downturn in the economy. I realize that this last turn down has, you know, lasted significantly longer than it typically does. You know, we usually see about a 9 to 12 month downturn when it happens. This one's lasted, you know, over 2 years, you know, kind of as a result of the pandemic and the changes with the supply chain and everything. So again, what I know that I kind of preach to brokers about, you know, establishing relationships and things like this. The same is as much true for trucking companies as it is for brokers, right? I know some people might disagree with me. Let me know your comments down below on, you know, there being synergy between brokers and carriers. I truly believe it. It's something that I strive for personally. Again, I can't speak for everybody, but I know that there are some out there that disagree with me, but I truly believe that when you can have that, right, good communication and everything, it just overall it provides you with more opportunities, right? It builds your network. You might get offered higher rates, better lanes and things by building your network and establishing your relationships. Okay. Again, I kind of felt like this video was just as important, and it's something that I maybe kind of overlooked to some extent for trucking companies, but it's just as much true for trucking companies as it is for brokers. So with that, I hope everybody's having a great day, and I hope you guys have a great week. You know, get out there, start building your network, and, you know, putting some of these tips into place, because, you know, while it might not be automatic or immediate, it will turn things around for you, right? And as we kind of start to see a little bit of an uptick in the market, you know, with rates and things, you know, starting to build these relationships and implementing these tips is really going to be beneficial, right? So again, for anybody, if you have ideas for another video, if you just want to reach out to me, my email is freightmasterresources@gmail.com. I do keep that email monitored frequently throughout the day, even on the weekends. And so feel free to reach out to me if you've got a question, like I said, or something that you'd like me to talk about in a future video. I do have a couple of suggestions in emails right now, and I'm going to try to get to those this week. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and comments, you know, about my tips, anything you want to add to it, right? These were just, you know, a few simple tips to kind of, you know, point you in the right direction if you've been struggling. But if, you know, you're a veteran driver, owner operator, fleet owner out there, and you want to add some more tips to what I mentioned, by all means, drop a comment down below. And as always, we have our recommended tools and resources in the description, and to help you grow and be more successful as a broker, an agent, or a trucking company. I'll go ahead and sign off now. Again, hope you guys have a great week. And as always, be kind to one another.